Hello and welcome to myfinancesteacher.org. In this video I want to have a look at the comparison between gold and silver performance during the previous financial crisis, given that now we are undergoing something similar with the economic crisis and huge unemployment created by the shutdown of the economies in so many countries. Before we continue, let me remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and click that bell notification. Thanks a lot. Now the blue line in front of you is the price of gold. That's the performance of gold price in percentages starting from August 2007. And the purple line is the performance of silver starting from that point as well. A cycle low around that time, so that is a natural point to start looking at. So here in 2008 we see the brunt of this financial crisis hitting all the markets, including precious metals, even though these would be your safe haven assets. But of course, in a rush for liquidity, just as it happened several weeks ago, everything is getting hammered down. We see that between March 2008 and November 2008, gold lost nearly 30% of its value. And during the same period, silver has actually lost 55% of its value. Imagine more than half of the value lost. That, of course, is very painful. It is important because we need to realize that investors that were holding precious metals, especially more volatile silver, by the end of 2018 are in a lot of pain. So once the brunt, the bulk of the crash and the run for liquidity has finished, once precious metals started to gradually slope upwards, investors would be happy enough first to enter into a more stable, more reassuring gold rather than more volatile and more risky silver. After all, a 55% drawdown, especially if the investors had some leverage, that's just decimating. So everyone is scared to get back into silver, and what's happening at the end of 2018 is a divergence between gold and silver. Gold has already started trending upwards during November and December 2018, while silver during that same period was mostly flat. Something similar is actually happening at the moment. Gold has already created higher highs for the year, for 2020, while silver is still lagging behind. Next, let's have a look at GDX, SIL, that's Silver Miners ETF, and how do they perform during a crash as well. But unfortunately, the SIL data doesn't go back to the global financial crisis, so we're going to look at this mini small crash in 2016. The dark blue line here is S&P 500. The purple line is SIL, and the blue line with the shaded area is GDX. Back in 2015-16, S&P 500 lost just around 14%, so of course, it wasn't as bad as the global financial crisis or the recent drop in 2020. But still, we observe that sometimes a rush for liquidity sells safe havens as well. Here, for example, in August 2015, when S&P 500 lost 12% in only about 1 week, Silver Miners lost about 18%, and GDX lost about 18% during the same period as well. After that 18% drop, during September and October 2015, we see GDX is already trending upwards, while SIL was mostly flat with a more negligible uptrend. And then with the next drop in S&P 500 in early 2016, we see that both GDX and SIL have bottomed pretty much at the same time in the second half of January, but setting that day of the 19th of January as the starting period shows us that SIL, the purple line, was underperforming GDX for the first month and a half or so. And again, a similar situation is happening at the moment. We see a deep cut on the chart on the 13th of March, and here, 1 month later, we see that SIL is still underperforming GDX a little bit. GDX is up nearly 63%, while SIL is up around 56%. And on top of that, remember, GDX is underperforming gold itself a little bit at the moment. But back in 2016, after that mini crash, after 1.5 months, SIL did overtake GDX. So I think in the medium term, silver is going to do well, but My holdings are mostly in gold at the moment, and I might reallocate in the next few weeks, depending on the technical indicators. And talking about the technicals, this is more of a long-term view, and what's going to happen in the short to medium term might actually depend more on the technicals, which we discussed yesterday on my website, going into the details of gold price, silver price, and GDX. So for regular updates, you are welcome to join us at myfinancesteacher.org. For now, I wish you a nice day and good luck in your trades.